Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the TNT Boys Podcast. I am your host, Kale. This is my co-host, Samuel.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome to the Mind Shaft. We're once here again, recording here. Zach is out with COVID right now. That's tough.
It's tough.
That's very tough.
Yeah, he had a tough training session with me today. Just got to bounce back.
We wish him well. We hope he
Yeah.
gets better soon.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
No.
That's
a struggle for sure.
So today is episode 23, and what we're going to be talking about is, or what the title is what is your pre-game ritual? So what are we talking about? We're going to be talking about like sports traditions of like teams that do stuff, pro teams, college teams, whatever. Pre-game rituals.
We're getting wild
how it affects people, how it affects teams.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be talking about some crazy pre-game rituals here at the TNT Boys today.
You're in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
I know.
To get things started, we are going to do a quick recap of the last episode.
Yes, the social media one.
I think that we had some good, interesting conversations with that one.
That was funny. I think that was one of our best.
Yeah, we had some funny moments. We had some interesting moments. It was a good one.
I appreciate Vance and Zach chiming in when they can.
Sure.
Vance was fucking hilarious. It was
a good one.
The horny part, bro. I still can't stop watching that clip. Short. If you want to check it out, it's on our shorts.
The Ed Bassmaster thing was funny too.
Yeah.
We're here on this podcast, I guess.
Yeah. So, what have we learned in the sports world this week?
Well, we are getting into the NFL season,
which we have a new miniseries coming out tomorrow.
Who You Got?
It's called Who You Got. We predict.
We do the first 2 weeks to start.
We did the first 2 weeks because I'm going to be gone the rest of this. Starting on Friday, I'll be gone for a whole week. We're planning on recording another couple episodes. So expect those to come out when we're gone or when I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boys will be back again. The boys are this is our time of year. This is when we're busy.
Yeah.
This is our
when
first.
We should be busy. So
this is our first football season.
Yep. First start football season. I'm stoked, man. I mean, I love football.
Well, now you have a platform to talk about it.
Yeah, and
now it's just not you and I. Now we get to share with the world and our friends and family, and if they don't like our opinions,
the whole world,
imagination.
You just cut that part out.
Nah. Imagination.
We might just post editing. We might just be able to cut that part out right there.
I am the editor.
You might be able to do that though. You might be able to do that.
You can't convince me.
Well, no, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love talking the talk about sports and talking about my favorite teams, but also talking about football in general. And high school football actually starts tonight. So that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, things are they're really starting to kick off, and I think it's going to be a fun football season.
Yeah. Before we continue, with what's happening in this sports world this week, I'd like to send my condolences to the Johnny Goodell. I can't say his name. I used to be able to say his name, but he was a professional hockey player that has played in the NHL for a few years, quite a while. Him and his brother were struck by a vehicle by a suspected drunk driver while biking around in New Jersey. We would like to send our condolences to them as well. I remember watching him playing for the Calgary Flames against my team, the Oilers, and he was a really good player.
Yeah.
So may he rest in peace.
Sam, peace.
What do you have in the sports world this week?
Just excited, man. Excited for football season. Nothing really new that I can think of.
Contracts?
We kind of talked contracts. I don't remember if I mentioned A.J. Dillon getting put on injured reserve the rest of the season for my Packers.
No.
With a neck injury, so that's tough.
Lions signed Tim Patrick,
Granted, with
which
Dylan,
which you didn't think that was a good pick anyway when we talked about it off camera too.
with the Lions,
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a bad pick.
Well, you just didn't think that we needed him. I'm saying.
I think he'll be good. I don't know. I thought it was dumb you guys put him on the practice squad. You guys can use him on the
he
active
is
roster.
going to be on the back practice squad, but if we
Because he
need
could
him,
be put in there with. I mean, who knows? He might be able to be a better number 2 than Jameson Williams. But on top of that, going back to the AJ Dillon thing, I think he was only slated to be maybe a third string this year. The guy's 240, 250 pounds and can't break tackles. He can't, win the short yardage situations. So it's tough, man. Like you have a guy that big with legs that big to use in those short yardage power situations, and he hasn't been getting the job done. It sucks. I mean, I've been a fan of him ever since he's been in Green Bay, but it's an unfortunate situation. Hopefully he comes back stronger. But he was probably going to be third string this year behind Josh Jacobs and the rookie Marshawn Lloyd anyway. So, anyway, how's your week been?
been long.
Been
Work,
kind of a longer week.
work
week.
has been busy.
Same.
It's our time of year where everyone's trying to get pipe and stuff in the ground, so they're going to order more
Sure.
pipe from us, and
Sure.
winter's going to change here and there. Passed my DOT physical this week, so
Heck yeah.
I'm going to have another year. Your boy got another contract extension, signed, sealed, and delivered. You know how it is. If people don't know what that is, so basically it's medical. You got to be passing to drive the big trucks. So it is what it is. I mean, you can't really do much about it.
Yeah, it comes with the job. It comes with the territory. Yeah, things have just been kind of consistent for me. But when we get into the sports traditions topic, Kale,
Sure, go ahead.
who has some of the best and worst traditions in college and pro sports?
Oh, personally, I'm gonna be biased. Nebraska has the best. One of the best.
How so? I used to like the balloon thing. They quit doing that for obvious reasons.
Which, yeah, that kind of like ruined it. But I just like how the tunnel walk is, and then like they do it like there's no place like Nebraska. But they kind of changed, when Scott Frost took over, they kind of changed the tunnel walk a little bit, and then
Yeah, they did. They changed a few things for sure.
Worst one. I don't understand PJ Fleck's deal with row the boat. He did it at Western Michigan. Ironically, we're watching a Western Michigan right now in the background.
Versus Wisconsin.
And he brought it to Minnesota, and it's like, what is? I don't get it. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't. I don't think it makes sense to like a gopher in a way.
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, it kind of
doesn't make sense to Western Michigan Broncos either.
No. Broncos don't.
This must be like a personal thing for him.
Yeah, I have to look into it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Who has the best tradition, worst tradition? I mean, obviously, I love Nebraska's because I grew up here. I've watched them my whole life. Big Husker fan. But looking at some other ones,
Virginia Tech, dude,
that I can respect.
Enter Sandman.
That's a good one. Yeah. Man. Yeah. No, that's tough, man. Obviously I gotta say Nebraska. Yeah, I don't know, man. Some of the worst ones, I mean, you look at I guess when it comes to pro sports, I like with the Packers, they always play the same song every time they score a touchdown.
I hate that song.
I
I just cannot stand that song.
I like the tradition though. It's fitting for Green Bay.
I can't do that. I can't. No.
Bengals, they always play "Welcome to the Jungle," don't they?
No. I mean, it makes sense if you
It
think
does.
about it.
Yeah, I mean that's their inside of their stadium is jungle
Themed.
themed, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could even go back to high school when I was at Norfolk High, and we had some. Our tradition was well.
We didn't really have
I mean, that
much
almost
of tradition.
that almost goes more into the next thing of pregame rituals, which we'll talk. I'll talk more about that when we get to that topic. But
Norfolk didn't have much of a.
we had our pregame rituals though that I thought were kind of dumb. We had some stuff. We'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Um. Oh man.
Now you got that song stuck in my head. I wanna bang on my drum or whatever it is.
I don't want to play, just want to bang. Yeah, I don't know. Going to that Packer game live a couple years ago, it was just cool experience, cool
Coming out
tradition
with
they
the
have
dub
there.
with this jersey.
Even though it was a loss to the Lions on Sunday Night Football,
We both. I mean, at that point, we both weren't going into the playoffs. So.
if we won, we would have made the playoffs.
But you didn't.
I'm just saying, we were playing for
didn't.
playoffs.
It don't
You
matter.
guys
It don't matter. You guys lost.
weren't even playing
You
for
guys lost.
playoffs.
Well, we were actually until Seattle miraculously somehow won last second.
Is tailgating better than going to the actual game sometimes? You know what? Sometimes
I've heard from a lot of people.
tailgating's fun. When you do it right, it's a lot of fun at Husker games. It is.
Well, when Barstool came to Lincoln last year when we went,
yeah,
it was fun until we started getting our asses kicked, and we're just standing there like, all right, we don't have one, we don't have a DD, we're drinking, and them beers were going down pretty smooth.
they were going down, man.
They were going pretty
smooth. At
slow.
some point, it was like not even halfway through the first quarter, and we're down 21-0 against Michigan. It's like, all right, GG, we're out.
Yeah, all the college kids around us just like thinking
already.
They're like, yeah.
It's like, dude, so, we keep going, but
what's funny, we fit in. We did.
In. Oh, totally.
And I was like talking to people like, oh, I'm from this area, like, oh, you know this, and like, no.
I ran into an old friend of mine that day too.
Yeah. I saw some people I knew on top of the rail yard when the rail is where we were at.
The rail yard's such a fun place though. It gets really crowded there though on game day, but it's fun, man. I like it. It's a good vibe there.
It is. And that's why I think a lot of people do that versus going to the game.
Well, and I've actually done actual tailgating like in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like so like my brother-in-law or like his parents have like season tickets and stuff and they have a spot there in one of those like reserved parking lots, and then my aunt and uncle also have a spot, and it's just fun, man. Like just bullshitting, drinking, eating good food before the game. Some people have some really cool tailgating setups. It's a lot of fun, man.
That one bus we saw walking back, and I told the guy his bus is nice. I noticed he's selling it on Marketplace on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, tailgating is fun, man.
I mean, you got the Bills Mafia.
Like, so last year, I went to 2 Husker games last year, back to back. One of them was the Northwestern game. I went with my brother, Will. Following week was the Purdue game. I went with my dad. And the first week, the Northwestern game, it was nice out. Perfect football weather. But see, during that time, I was also training for World's Powerlifting. So we tailgated, but I didn't drink at all.
Oh, that sucks.
And it kind of sucks. It's like,
I know. Dang. I remember you told me. Like,
I remember. I told you.
Dude,
like,
I was so tempted. I'm
tailgating, and I'm not drinking at all. Just drinking water. But you know, it's
high quality H2O.
I had Worlds
what do you mean?
coming up,
and water right now.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna risk it. You know, so that part kind of sucks. That like it kind of goes with it, but at the end of the day, too, it's like,
hey, at the end of the day,
I still had fun.
The results show.
Yeah, the results definitely show.
Second place.
At Worlds. So, but still good food. Like it was just a fun experience. The second one at Purdue, it was really cold out, and we ended up leaving early anyway. That felt colder than the Packer game.
Huh.
Honestly, the wind was just sharp, man.
Yeah, I would like to experience one of those. Not really, but I mean,
Tailgating in the parking lot, like like I said, some of these people have awesome setups.
You know how much money you gotta pay to do that?
You gotta have it's
Dude, you can be like Bill
you gotta be
Mafia.
pretty. A lot of these people are really successful.
You know what? I'm gonna have to add that picture.
People.
Remember when Maya? It's like, she's like, I spotted you. I was like, oh yeah. She sent me a picture. It circled the spot we were in at Dave Portnoy where he was on the stage. He came out.
Yeah, I remember
me
that.
doing the double middle fingers.
Yeah,
on the actual Husker fan page.
Yeah,
or the actual main.
I do remember that. That was cool.
I'll have to add.
And that was fun
video.
too. Doing those fun little things they have going on, like pregame. That's always fun, man.
Dude.
No matter where you go, even
funny,
when we're in Green Bay, like the tailgating.
As so, like when I look at Dave Portnoy, I'm like, he's cool, and then he's not cool.
Yeah.
I love how he was trolling the shit out of us.
It was that part was funny. He was trolling us.
GBR,
but it's like he wasn't wrong at the time. Man.
No,
he's still technically not wrong.
We are a volleyball school.
We are right now, yeah,
which is okay.
Which is fine.
We do very well.
But we pride ourselves a lot in football, and we haven't been anything in football really since.
Y'all can quote me on this. I don't care, but hot take: volleyball would not be better, or volleyball isn't as good as it is because of Husker football, or not Husker football, Husker volleyball.
Okay, say that again.
Volleyball wouldn't be as much, like it wouldn't be as relevant as it is right now because of college volleyball for one, but mainly Nebraska has had a lot of of influence on girls.
Oh, for sure, they've been so good for years now.
But anyway, back to what we were talking about, tailgating. You know, you got to think about the Buffalo Bills and those fans.
Yeah, Bills Mafia, slamming into tables and stuff like that. That'd be fun. I'd like to do more NFL tailgating, but I remember like when we went up to the Packer game, we were drinking on the way there. I remember going to the hotel and all that stuff, and then driving to the game, and it was hilarious.
Great game. But next time we're gonna get the hotel right next to the stadium.
Yeah. Well, but it was just fun. Like everything we did, like going in the Packers pro shop and everything.
I gotta admit, the Hall of Fame was really nice.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
And I feel like just getting more of that actual tailgating experience there would be more fun. Like actually like setting up or like going around. I don't know. It's just actually setting up like a good tailgating setup too, you know.
The food that some people,
like a lot of setup goes into that, but I think it would be fun. Like people will go all out for tailgating,
well,
man.
Shit, when you just go by the stadium, you see how many people have Airbnbs, Packer themed, everything.
Yeah,
houses and everything.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, if you were a fan of the Packers, that would be a hot destination to go because, dude, one, you're next to the stadium. Two, you're surrounded by a bunch of people that want to be your friend. Wisconsin people are very nice.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I was just thinking too, like even at Husker games, people that go all out into tailgating and they have like such awesome setups, and they're just drinking pregame, like just drinking, playing like tailgating games, yard games, things like that. They got cornhole set up and stuff. And some of these people get so drunk, they're blacked out before the game. Like they'll just either watch the game at their tailgate or pass out, dude. It's hilarious.
Well, you know what's kind of sad is it seems like these new stadiums are building with the domes and everything.
Yeah.
Which I can go rant on that forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's ruining the tradition of football a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems like they're trying to get rid of these tailgating areas. They just want normal parking.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb. I mean, you're gonna lose people that go there.
Tailgating, yeah, that's part of the experience for fans.
But what I like about, again,
I kind of get it from a business perspective and stuff, but like the fans are your business.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They're the customers.
Yeah, the fans are the whole reason you succeed anyway.
So like what I'm like
fans.
I'm gonna keep going back to this because I mean it's the only NFL stadium I've been to. Eventually I'm gonna go to Detroit. we're gonna go to Detroit, watch a Detroit Green Bay game. I don't know how it is up there.
I'm sure it's fun.
They had other places that would reserve parking that you could pay for, these like restaurants and stuff, and it's like, okay, cool.
I bet Arrowhead has fun tailgating.
Okay, and I will say this too: the culture around Green Bay was cool,
Yeah.
except for the end of the game when we won.
The end of the game and you guys won, and then me and Brody had to like protect you from getting attacked by other Packer fans.
Fuck, what did those two people tell me? To eat shit and die or something?
They said something. Yeah, they said eat shit.
Eat shit and die. And I'm like, okay. And then the one Packer fan behind me was like, "Yeah, I don't know why we gotta do that." Like, I'm like, dude, we just won. Like, I don't care.
I mean, it's not like no one was going to the playoffs after that.
Yeah,
it was disappointing, but
I just wish it snowed.
Dude, that's all we were missing. Like that was vintage Lambeau Field without the snow.
I didn't think it was that cold.
But it was frozen tundra. I thought it was cold, dude. I was freezing by the time we left. I was freezing. I slept good
I just wish we didn't have an early checkout.
I was shivering in my sheets when I went to bed that night.
I wish we didn't leave early as fuck. Or like stayed another extra day.
The breakfast at that hotel slapped though. It did.
That morning?
Yeah.
I never had it.
Yeah, you did.
We did?
The next morning after the game.
I thought we went somewhere else.
No, we had the hotel breakfast and then we dipped.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was all right.
It was good for a hotel.
Not as good as the one in Oregon. I ain't gonna lie. Nothing can beat Oregon right now.
That was good. That was good. Can tradition be overboard sometimes?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
an example, Colorado right now.
Yeah, yeah. Or like even when fans like get too overboard with it, you know what I mean? Like when they just take it too seriously. Like it's life or death.
Yeah.
And they get into fights and it's like, dude, it's not that deep.
I can tell you right now.
At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Back to the worst, probably 49ers, Dallas, Raiders, Texas.
Those three for sure.
Texas fans.
Texas.
Oklahoma fans. Alabama fans.
Alabama.
Georgia fans. Tennessee fans.
Even like Bills Mafia to a point.
Yep.
Eagles fans. Oh my god.
Eagles are probably the worst.
They're notorious for that, man.
Yes. And then Vikings.
Vikings fans aren't really
it's hit and miss. It's up and down.
I mean, okay, every fan base is going to have its toxic fans. There's even some Nebraska fans like that. But ultimately, for the most part, Nebraska fans are known as fairly respectful towards, other teams.
A lot of people say we travel well and we are very nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, it's hit and miss, but you have your fan bases that are typically more toxic than others, and you named them, you rattled them off. There was
Texas, Dallas,
Cowboys, 49ers, Raiders, Texas, we talked Eagles, Oklahoma,
USC a little bit, but
to a point. Colorado now. You got your Sanders. I mean, full disclosure, I used to love Deion Sanders. I thought he was a great player. I liked him at Jackson State. The more time goes on, the more I start to dislike him. And I've defended Deion on this podcast before. I've defended him. But dude, the more it goes on and on, man, it's just, dude, you're not doing yourself any favors, dog. But
it's just, I hate to use this in the podcast because I like to leave this up to the boys over at Useless and Touching Base. Mostly Useless. He's like the Donald Trump of college football when it comes to like Twitter and shit.
Yeah.
Twitter fingers. Doesn't know how to shut the hell up.
He doesn't.
I
always talk about during their summer camp, they had their players put their Instagram handles on the backs of their jerseys instead of their real names.
Which I kind of understand that because it's giving them more,
You're trying to build a winning culture, not a brand.
They just
I think that was the dumbest thing.
I guess there was something on. They had to ban a a journalist because there was like,
I heard about that. Someone from the Denver Post, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I did hear about that.
but somebody was being I guess a lot of people were defending him, saying he was being realistic about stuff, or I don't know. I think Dion tries to avoid the questions because probably can't handle it.
I think Patri- old Patriots fans tradition
Like prime Brady.
during the Brady era, the
Yes.
dynasty era, Brady Belichick
Yes.
era. Yeah, those are some unbearable fans.
Okay, so I will say this about the Vikings: when they start winning more, they
Yeah.
become
Okay. Yeah.
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 They think they're on top of the
Yeah. When
world.
they have like a solid team and they're winning a lot, but then they ultimately always choke anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then their fans can get a little
To be honest, Green Bay
boastful.
fans, sometimes Green Bay fans, and I'm not saying that because of the game.
You talking to me?
Yes,
Really?
sometimes. Last few years, okay.
Iowa State. I'm just
Mm,
kidding. I'm just kidding. See
he,
if
he,
we.
he ain't
How
gonna
about
watch
how
it.
about Rams? You think a little bit?
A little bit, a little bit.
I think just Tom Brady fans in general.
Yep. LeBron
But
James
now we're
fans.
getting more into like certain fans and how like how much we don't like them or whatever,
Yeah.
and not so much about tradition.
All I will say is
But it goes hand in hand.
all I will say this in a quick side note is Michael Jordan is definitely way better than fucking LeBron. I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, in my opinion, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. But I don't really watch basketball too much.
But I mean, for someone who doesn't watch basketball too much, you already know.
I would say MJ's better.
Yeah. I
Um,
can literally debate that with anyone.
yeah, yeah.
Moving on.
How easy is it to spot a diehard fan versus a bandwagon fan? I can tell you right now, it's easy to spot a bandwagon fan. Ask him anything about that team specifically. Ask him any player that's not like already a star. So like if someone who claims to be a Chiefs fan, ask him to name any player besides Mahomes or Kelsey. If they can't, they're a bandwagon. Or Chris Jones, I guess. Besides those three. Like what do they actually know about the team? That's how you spot a bandwagon fan. If they don't know, if they claim to be a fan and they don't really know anything about the team, they just like them because they're good and they're a bandwagon.
You know, a lot of people thought I bandwagon the Lions last year. It's like I named off
No,
players.
you've been a fan for them ever since they were shit. I'll,
and
I'll vouch for him on that one.
and they're like, oh, name players. I name players. Like, oh, it was from mostly Viking fans too.
Who is calling you out on that?
Oh, people you don't know. I know that I play video games with, and just like people I've delivered to, and there,
Now,
there was times I was wearing my Lions hat at work when in season. So
now, diehard fans, they're easy to spot because
I go by old jerseys. Like if they're wearing like if it looks like very vintage, like bought
okay,
back.
yeah. If you see that at face value, you're like, okay, this dude's a true fan.
Yeah,
Um, but if their knowledge of the team is lengthy, they're not a bandwagon. They're a
yeah.
diehard fan. If they stick with that team through the tough seasons, like their team hasn't won anything in years, but they're a fan. Okay, that's a diehard. Like we're diehard Nebraska fans. We haven't done shit in years,
Yeah.
but we're still
Amen,
fans.
brother.
We're still fans. We're still diehard. And even like being a Packer fan, we've been pretty good over the years, but we've had our down years.
I think last year, beginning of the season, I think it was kind of like a reality check for a lot of,
It was beginning of the year. It's like,
especially
okay,
when they played the Lions that first fucking game, and we
dude,
came and
yeah, we
win.
went to Big Red, and
You were, oh man, the David Montgomery came in there and just did his
dude,
thing.
and I didn't start him in fantasy that week, and he went off. He scored like 3 touchdowns,
I know.
and you guys beat us bad. And it was just kind of a reality check. It's like, okay, Aaron's not here anymore.
I also think like
who's going to step up, and Jordan Love eventually did.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's like jerseys. You'll see jerseys, and you can go to someone's house and they have like, oh, hey, a man cave. You walk in the man cave, and it's just like all Huskers or
Yeah,
all Vikings, all
whatever it
Lions.
is, like yeah, if they have a lot of like stuff from that team, like they've obviously invested and spent a lot of money on merchandise from that team, they're probably a diehard fan.
I think you'll start to see more bandwagon fans during the playoffs as we dwindle down the season.
You'll see bandwagon fans come out of the woodwork when it's a random team starts to do really good. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
like in recent years, you've seen a lot of Chiefs bandwagoners because the Chiefs sucked for a lot of years, and now all of a sudden they're going to Super Bowls. They've got Mahomes. They've got and
Now,
so
would you consider someone a bandwagon if they say they've been watching since their first Super Bowl, or do you think they turn into more of a actual fan?
so you mean
So say like the
like
first Super Bowl
they first started watching the Chiefs when they were good that first year and they went to the Super
with
Bowl
Mahomes, yes,
and they're still a fan to this day.
yes, they've grown. Have they
It,
grown?
that's tough because it'll see how their true loyalty is once they have a bad year. Being a loyal fan has really the good years are great, but it's all about how are you going to respond when there's a bad year, And being a
Right.
Packer fan, even though we've mostly been good, we've had some bad years, even in the Aaron Rodgers era. Those last couple of years with McCarthy were tough. Like Aaron Rodgers got hurt one of those years. We missed the playoffs the next year. Then we go to LaFleur. We're making it to NFC championships galore. Still never made it back to a Super Bowl, unfortunately. And then you lose. And then we had another bad year where we lost to you guys in the season finale. And then you lose Aaron. He's the Hall of Fame guy for years. He's that dude.
He was the Brett Favre
He
replacement.
he's the successor to Brett Favre, and he goes on and has arguably an even more successful career than Brett did in Green Bay. And then you got the new guy Jordan Love coming in. It tests your loyalty as
Who
a fan.
who
Are you going to
who
stay
who
loyal?
still could be a hit or miss right now.
He really could be. He had a great first year. Started off rocky, ended up good. You know, still could be hit or miss. You don't know. We paid him a lot of money, so we'll see. But again, it tests your loyalty. Like the Hall of Fame quarterback's no longer there. There's some Hall of Fame players that are no longer there. Are you still going to be a loyal fan? That's when the loyalty of a fan is really tested, is when things change or when you have a bad year. And I don't think anyone will question my loyalty as a Packers fan. And obviously, no one will question your loyalty as a Lions fan because they were dog shit for how many years?
I don't think nobody would question Brody's loyalty.
No.
That's for damn sure.
They had a few good years with Stafford. But really, ever since Dan Campbell walked in there, they've been nothing but steady improvement every year.
They've been great. They were great with Caldwell, and that was just bad ownership.
Yeah, they fired him
doing.
for no reason.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that. That could be. I mean,
That's a whole other story. Yeah.
That could be a whole episode. We could talk about like, oh, hey, controversial firings or something.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any situations where I've met someone who claimed to be a fan of a team but didn't know anything about the team, nothing. And sometimes it's hard to tell because they might just be getting into the sport. And they're like, okay, I'm going to root for this team. But they don't know anything yet because they're still fresh. That's like, okay, they might not be a bandwagon. They might just be new, right? So sometimes that's the situation. So sometimes it's tough to differentiate between true bandwagoners and people that are just new to the sport, new fans. But usually they'll say, usually you can tell.
Yeah.
So, anything else on that topic?
Not really.
Otherwise, we're going to go into rituals that has benefits
For like athletes and
for specific, for like athletes and what have you. We could go into some deep discussion here. Do Do you think athletes use team rituals and traditions to sway their decision to go play somewhere? I think so,
Yeah,
to a point.
I think
I feel like some
more
do,
back
some
in the
don't.
day, more back in the day for sure.
Yeah,
Nowadays, it's more about who's offering me the most NIL,
NIL. Yeah,
and I think NIL that could be a whole other episode again. I personally think NIL is kind of destroying college football.
I think really any player that decides to come play for Nebraska at this point, any good player, they're looking at tradition. You know what I mean? Like we have a rich tradition, we have a winning history, just not recently, and they want to be that person to come here and bring us back to that level. And so it depends on the team. Like if it's a team that is struggling but has had success in the past, I think players look at tradition. But if it's a team that's already good and has been good for a lot of years and they're just getting that NIL deal, they're going to go there.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I think NIL is really, really like hurting college football a little bit. And I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm not saying that it's
I think
the end
it's
of the
hurting
world.
like the
Tradition side.
tradition a little bit.
So you got like schools like LSU, Alabama, these bigger schools. Like, hey, you pay me over 15 million,
Georgia.
I'm gonna come play. But like, dude, like, why would you want to go to a school that you're just gonna be a bench player for most of your career because everyone's going to that school?
Yeah.
People go in these schools
I
just
feel
to
like
win the
I feel like
championship.
I feel like Arch Manning's been kind of going through that at Texas.
He's a solid quarterback,
He
but
is, but he hasn't had a chance to start because Quinn Ewers is a stud.
Arch should transfer.
He won't.
I know.
He'll be the starter eventually. I just feel like he's someone who could have been a starter already.
Yeah.
But that's an example of that.
I know like a lot of people go, like facilities. Facilities are a big recruitment piece. And in the
That
pros,
is.
a lot of people go to Dallas because look at what Jerry's built.
Yep.
They have some
They call it
good.
Jerry World for a reason.
Yeah, there is literally a place called Jerry's World, which they play. It's like their practice dome, and they actually play high school football games in there. 2 on Saturdays.
Yeah. It's insane. They've invested a lot into that.
And you can even go back to like high school football, like in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a video last night about how these stadiums in like Melissa Cardinals, they have like an enrollment of like 900 people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's outside Dallas, and people are like, it's kind of overboard. They have this like big ass stadium. It's like, okay, but if I'm a player and I'm going around to these schools and
I mean,
I don't know,
you look at tradition. You also look at how much of a chance do I have of winning. That's another reason why some of these teams are, or some of these players are swayed by these really good teams.
and playing time.
Playing time. So there's a number of different things you look at. One, you look at, I think number one, you look at playing time, right? You look at playing time. You want to go somewhere. You want to play.
Right.
You want to start. You want to get a lot of playing time. Number two, you look at winning, your chance of winning. I mean, I guess this is based off what I would look at specifically. If I was in those shoes, I'd look at playing time, winning, uh, facilities. NIL's last on that for me if I'm a college athlete.
and coaches.
Like if you're really that dude, if you're that good, you're gonna go to the league eventually and make your money. But I get it. Because college, it's
it just
that's a whole
doesn't
nother discussion.
it just doesn't make sense that I can get paid $15 million and then go to the league and make another $15 million,
Yeah.
another 4 years. It's a pretty much a get rich scheme.
If you're really good at throwing a football or running a football, I
You don't
mean,
have to be that.
we're paying Dylan Raiola a lot of money.
You don't have to be that good. There's kids on smaller schools that are making at least over 100,000. I
Yeah.
mean, look at Duke players. Look at UNL, ULM players. Look at Ball State players.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks? I hate talking about it because it's a whole nother episode. I don't like the sidetrack stuff. But what I will say is I think it's bullshit that these coaches are now getting caught, or like, well, I'm glad they're getting caught, but like it's bullshit that his coach is tampering with these other players on other schools.
Yeah.
This ain't the NFL.
I mean, when at the end of the day, when you look at it, the transfer portal is just free agency.
Yeah. A get out of free jail card, I think.
It's free agency. It's trading. It's the trading block. That's what the transfer portal is. It's the college version of free agency in the trading block.
And again,
in the NFL.
What's the point of giving these kids scholarships that are getting paid? I said this way back in the first of our episodes. Why give these kids a scholarship, even if they're already making $15? Give it to fucking Joe Schmo, who is a raised farm kid whose parents can't make a fucking dime for the life of them, but they're still wanting to send their kid to college because they know the kid's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Give the Joe Schmo. Rant's over. Back to what we were talking about.
I don't know. It's kind of back on that same question. Like, do athletes use team rituals and tradition to sway their decision? And I kind of put the order. I think nowadays for most athletes, NIL is number one, right? Yeah. They want to make money. Number two is probably winning tradition. Number three is probably playing time, honestly. Yeah. But it's like, if you really want to go to that next level and go to the NFL, you're going to need some tape. You're going to need to play at least one good season.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Preferably 2 or more.
That's why you don't see freshmen going first.
Preferably 2 to 3, some 4. But yeah, it's crazy, man. But
I'm glad they stopped it to where you're a freshman, you go in the draft the first year.
But I guess this for more of like this next one more from like if you are an athlete or like you're on a team. So now I'm gonna get into the Norfolk High thing we were talking about. Well, we had this thing called quiet time.
That was the dumbest thing.
Remember quiet time?
Yeah. If any of like past football players or alumni that had been through it, I'm not saying
I wasn't a fan of it.
Not saying that the coaches we had were bad. It's just
I just wasn't a fan of quiet time.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Quiet time, like, I get the idea, like you're meditating or something.
You're getting locked in.
I would rather get locked in with my teammates hyping up in the freaking locker room, jump up and down and go like,
or on the bus on the way to the game.
Yeah.
On the way to the field. But like
we're also relaxing our muscles, and it's like, that doesn't help.
I don't know, man. Like, we're about to go out and play a football game, and like, you want us to basically go take a nap? Is that like?
And people did.
Yeah, people would fall asleep. I would sometimes. Most of the time, I was too amped up, for the game. But I would just lay there like.
Just get dominated 70-0 sometimes. I mean, my high school years were different from yours. You guys were all right.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had some better seasons than we did. We had a lot of injuries. But that's one thing. That's one pregame ritual as an athlete. I remember that I was just like, why are we doing this? I know for a fact none of these other Class A schools, these Omaha schools, these Lincoln schools,
they're training them to be college athletes.
There's no way they're out here doing this quiet time bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, they are getting pumped. They're in the locker room. They're getting amped. They're getting ready. And we're up in the wrestling room taking a nap. Or we're in the opposing team's locker room taking a nap. I don't know, man. At the time, I thought it was dumb. Looking back, I think it's dumb. Rant over.
Well, we can make a whole episode of that. That'd be a good one when we have a certain guest on, if he wants to talk about it. But
that's true, yeah, and I think he would agree with me.
Yeah,
we've talked about that personally.
Yeah, two football alumni. Even though I didn't play my senior year, but I had my reasons. I think they're.
No, I know you had your reasons. I almost quit my senior year too because of my own reasons. It was just a bad situation, man. You get dealt a bad hand, and you put all that work in, and then you get screwed over, and it's.
I seriously feel
that happened to me.
That's another thing we could talk about, swaying things with athletes. Boosters, I think, can really like in Texas. I know for sure in Texas and these bigger schools in other states, boosters play a good part.
Boosters, and that's a big part even at the high school level. Man, it sucks,
It's
but
sad.
like if your parents aren't
Somebody in
part of the
town
boosters or donating money to
or
the
have a
school
name.
or to the program, like if you're not like an absolute stud athlete, you're probably not going to play. You're probably not going to see much time. And I'm like 90 to 95% sure that was the case. But I digress. Even as a power lifter, as an athlete in that aspect, um, I have my own, I guess, like tradition or like things I like to do leading up to a meet that I feel like get me ready. I feel like most lifters do this, but I always do a deload week the week before a competition or the week of, right? So I train a lot lighter with a lot lighter weights leading up to that competition. Um, so then my body's rested. I'm still doing the movements and retaining like the fluency and the form and the technique of the lift, but in my body, I'm not putting my body through the stress of lifting super heavy weights and saving that strength and energy for the actual competition itself. And then, it also, it can, as an athlete, it comes down to the foods you eat and things like that. You know, I don't know if you had like a go to meal the night before a game or whatever, or like the
Well,
morning
remember
of a
they in
game.
high school we did the pre
We did the team
the
dinners
parents, the moms would make good meals.
the nights before a home game. We would do like a team dinner. I do remember that.
Not gonna
They
lie,
were usually pretty good. Yeah.
some people can cook.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When it became like pasta, like dude,
Pasta. We had pizza. We had like tasty beefs. We had chili one time.
I just wish as a team, it felt like the team sometimes was separated with their own little groups, which as it should. I just wish they
Right.
did
Not everyone's
more.
going to be friends, but it's
Or
well,
like after games, we went to the pool and relaxed our muscles.
yeah, yeah. And so like yeah, there's even like post game or post competition rituals too. Like the morning after game, yeah, we'd go to the pool to rehab, relax the muscles, get the lactic acid moving, and then even like as a power lifter, post competition.
Well, what didn't help too, we had an old school coach.
That's true. Yeah. Mm,
Like today before you were telling me, the coach that is now, he's doing things differently.
a
And
little
we
bit.
we looked at it like, okay, it was hot and it rained when we played, and now they're inside of a
They've been practicing at the Y all week,
yeah, which
and
which nothing wrong with it,
right. I
but
mean,
like
it could be good, it could be bad.
I know for a fact we would have been out there.
Yeah, we wouldn't outside. At least on the hot days. Maybe on the super rainy day for
Oh, we
pregame
it
pregame practice on the super rainy day, we might have opted for the indoor
it would have been
facility.
inside because they wouldn't want us to tear up the grass.
Right. For a pregame practice. Um, but even like I mean, even back to like the powerlifting stuff, post game tradition, like we always go to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
You have your post game or post competition meals you like to have,
Well, shit.
and then like
Sometimes before we do this podcast, we'll go out to dinner,
sometimes
or
it doesn't even
or
have to be a game or a sport or a competition. It can just be something you do
just
in your
for
life
like
that
podcasts, like we do,
like a
like
podcast or whatever it is in your life.
I know for a fact that when we start getting more people on, we kind of want to like do a pre thing, like hey, kind of get to know them a little bit
Yeah.
more. And
Yeah.
that's just when we grow bigger, and kind of want to, just like hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're talking about, but like
For
not
sure.
give them the whole questions, but like
Right. Um yeah. I always take a full week off of lifting after a competition too to let your body rest. And certain athletes will do certain things after a game to help them stay healthy and protect their body and perform at their best. It's different for different sports, but yeah, no, That's pretty good. I mean, those are some.
You
I
could
think
do like Robbie's pre bar tradition, pre bar nap.
that's right. Pre-bar nap. Pre-bar nap. Or when if you're working out, if you're lifting, it's pre-workout. Poop or whatever.
Okay.
Hey man,
Or when you wake up in
sometimes
the
the
morning,
pre-workout goes through your system too fast.
or when you wake up in the morning, you got to pee right away
Yeah.
or poop. Sorry, well, we shouldn't be talking about that.
I mean,
Whatever.
it is what it is. Um,
Can't believe he
anything
said
else in
that.
terms of like rituals or that have benefits for athletes and stuff? I mean, there's even rituals you can think of as fans. I mean, we kind of tangented off into some other areas of life that weren't even sports related, but that's all right.
I'm trying to think. Um,
Any other sports you might have played in the past? You had certain rituals for beforehand.
not really. I just did it.
I didn't really have anything for track, to be honest with you. Football, I'll tell you this: football the night before a game, I'd always make sure I'd lay all my equipment, my whole uniform out, and make sure I have everything ready. My jersey, my pants, all my pads, my helmet, my gloves, socks, everything, my undershirt. I make sure it was all there, and then I'd put it in my equipment bag, and it'd be ready for the next day. And then I'd have all my clothes out ready for that next day. Like we'd always have to dress up in like a
I
nice
hated that.
tie and stuff on game day. I didn't like it either,
Why
but
can't we just wear jerseys?
yeah, we only got to do that once a year. And it was like homecoming week, I think. We got to wear our
Yeah.
jersey and jeans. Um other than that, we always had to wear like dress clothes and a tie on game day. And I'd have pancakes for breakfast usually the morning of a game.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't really do much. I just literally
So that
stayed
was
up.
football, but for track, I didn't give a shit about track. Um no, yeah, outside of that, and then obviously nowadays I have my stuff I do for powerlifting. I'm actually kind of getting back into that training style and looking at maybe doing another competition maybe late winter, early spring of next year, 2025. So, little update on me in that regard. But anything else for rituals and benefits and whatnot?
Um,
What about for fan? I mean, we could talk about that for fans, even if there's anything you can think of.
not really.
Okay, we'll move on to create your own tradition for a game. Pick your stadium, pick your atmosphere, pick your head coach, coach.
I was working.
Pick your no, that's on me. I pronounced it wrong. Pick your ideal opponent and pick your moment.
So like your like game winning touchdown or something. That make the
Okay.
crowd like
Why don't
just
you go first?
so stadium. I don't know. That'd be a tough one.
Ford Field. I don't know. I can go first. Gonna kind of okay. Pick your stadium. I'm gonna go Lambeau Field. Obviously, you surprised?
No.
Pick my atmosphere. It's frozen tundra. It's pretty cold, snowy. Um, is this as a player or a fan? Am I imagining myself as either,
Um. Neither.
either,
Either.
or neither?
Whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna go. No, you know what? Pick my stadium. I'm gonna pick somewhere warm where they would like have the Super Bowl at. I'm thinking that new Raiders stadium is pretty nice.
Uh,
SoFi Stadium, maybe
Allegiant
LA.
Stadium.
I'm gonna go SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
I'm gonna go SoFi Stadium. It's the Super Bowl, right? We're in LA. My atmosphere. It's the Super Bowl. Okay, that's my atmosphere. Biggest game of the world. My head coach is my head. Can it be any head coach of all time?
Any head coach of all time.
Any head coach of all time. My head coach is Tom Olsen. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Oh, you better think of a really good damn fucking scenario for that one.
Um, dang, there's a lot of good head coaches throughout time. I got to go Vince Lombardi. Old school. My ideal opponent, we'll say we're Green Bay. I'm Green Bay. My ideal opponent, we're in the Super Bowl, so it's got to be an AFC team. I'm gonna say Prime Patriots. And my moment is scoring the game-winning touchdown against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. The Prime Patriots, Dynasty Patriots, and Vince Lombardi's my coach. And I'm playing fullback or running back, whatever. Vince Lombardi's old school offense. I'm Jim Taylor, and I scored the game-winning touchdown on a fullback dive, last play of the game for the win. We're down by 5. We need a touchdown to win it, and we got it.
Did you complete the point after?
Doesn't matter. We're down by 5. We score a touchdown, we win anyway.
How many seconds in the game?
The last play of the game. It's a game winner. Last play of the game. We score 6, we win. Pretty cool scenario, I think. Okay, now it's your turn.
You're not gonna be surprised, but honestly, Husker Stadium.
Memorial Stadium, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Atmosphere. I want to be like a cold, but like a crisp, like a nice cold,
Like a nice, cool fall day.
Yes, it's nighttime, lights on the field.
Okay, I like
We're
that.
playing number one team, whoever it would be, like Michigan.
Georgia. Georgia's number 1 right now.
Oh well, any top team.
Whoever's number 1.
So let's say we're playing Michigan, and honestly, I'm gonna pick Bo Pelini as coach.
I like it.
Bo Pelini, very well disciplined guy with his coaches and players, and we pick up a house call, an interception from their end zone to our end zone, with like 5 seconds to spare. Or no, 5 seconds.
For the win.
Countdown. Yeah. So like they play off the ball, it's like 4th and 2. Game pick. Ran down the field. Big upset of the year.
I like it. That's good. Nice.
Thanks. It's not my best work, but it's honest work.
That's a good one. There's so many scenarios I could come up with in my head too. I'm thinking back to like actual games now, where it's like that could have played out differently.
Man, I must have made a good topic then.
You think back to like the 2014 NFC Championship game, Green Bay at Seattle. If Brandon Bostic doesn't botch that onside kick,
or when maybe Marshawn Lynch ran the damn ball.
True. Yeah.
There's a lot of big what ifs in college football or NFL or any sport.
For sure.
Like what if Pelini was never fired? Like what if
Pelini's never fired. I think we don't go down into the slump we go down into.
Yeah.
And personally, I just think that's probably what happens or what doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else to add to this episode?
Not that I can think of. I mean, hopefully to carry on the tradition.
Yeah, I hope this year is gonna be good, and I hope we see some new things from fans being dumb and crazy, and maybe good things.
Yeah.
I usually
A lot
like
of dumb
those.
and crazy fans.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when you see the dumbest things they'll do at games, just for
I mean,
views.
there's always the random naked guy that runs out onto the field, or just the random fan that runs out onto the field and gets tackled by security.
I think that's overdue now. Like
Yeah, it's always everyone does it now, and it's like,
it's like
oh,
really, dude,
there's the crazy guy that ran onto the field.
way to be original.
Yeah, it's not original. I don't know. It's interesting. It's funny. What do you think, man? You want to wrap it up?
Go ahead. Or yeah.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. This was sports traditions and rituals. I think it was a good episode. We had some good discussion, talked a lot about different teams in terms from a fan perspective and athlete perspective, and how you can apply this into other areas of your life.
And if you have any traditions or any past high school traditions, like in football, sports, track, whatever, basketball,
Let us know.
Let us know in the bottom. We could share it on our podcast. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Don't forget to follow Agent Life Media Group, TNT Boys, Touching Base,
Talking dirt,
Useless Assumptions, the whole 9 yards, all the social medias. Follow us.
Yep.
Watch our stuff. Listen to our stuff. You got something for just about everyone here. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Anything else you want to add, Kill?
There was something I thought about earlier and I don't remember. Oh, don't forget this episode is coming out this Sunday. So what's the date today? The 31st?
Today's the 30th.
Today's 30th, so it'll be
September 1st.
September 1st. This will be coming out. And then that following week, there should be another episode. If not, it'll be the next week. But there'll be a new episode or new show coming out next Monday. Or the next day, tomorrow, whatever you want to call it, since when it comes out. But it's gonna be called Who You Got.
Yep.
So yeah. Anything else from you?
That's it.
All right, peace. Bye.
Okay, peace. Bye.